Right now, somewhere in your chest, there is a feeling you cannot name. Not sadness exactly, not quite loneliness. Something that arrives when you scroll through a stranger's perfect life at 2 in the morning and feel the weight of a world that is somehow always happening somewhere else to someone else without you. You close the app. The feeling stays. Here is what nobody tells you. That feeling has no name because your brain was never supposed to have it. For almost the entire length of human history, that particular flavor of inner pain simply did not exist. And the reason it exists now tells you something deeply unsettling about the gap between the brain you are carrying and the world you are carrying it through. Your brain is ancient hardware running on a software update it never asked for. The human brain took roughly 200,000 years to become what it is. Some researchers place that number even higher. But the basic emotional architecture, the systems that generate fear, desire, connection, grief, jealousy, awe, those were shaped not by your life, not by your culture, but by the relentless pressure of a world that no longer exists. A world of small groups, immediate threats, real faces, real touch, real fire, real dark. Neuroscientist Lisa Feldman Barrett has spent decades studying how emotions are actually constructed inside the brain, and what she found overturns almost everything we assume. Emotions are not hardwired responses that simply fire when triggered. They are predictions. Your brain is constantly building a model of what is about to happen based on what has happened before, and your feelings are the result of that model running. What that means is this. If your brain encounters a situation it was never built to predict, the emotion it generates will be approximate, incomplete, a guess made with the wrong data. That is what you are feeling at 2 in the morning looking at a stranger's life. Your brain is trying to solve a social problem using tools designed for a world where you knew every face you would ever see. In the ancestral environment, the one your brain was calibrated for, comparison was bounded. You could compare yourself to maybe 150 people. That is roughly the size of the social groups early humans lived and died in. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar identified this number decades ago by correlating primate brain size with social group size, and humans sat right at a cap of about 150 meaningful relationships. Beyond that, your brain loses its grip. It can track the information, but it cannot process it with the same emotional weight. Today, a single morning on your phone can expose you to 10,000 curated lives. The emotion that triggers is not one your ancestors ever felt. It is not jealousy in the traditional sense, which evolved as a protective response to real and immediate threats to your status or your bond. It is something stranger, a hollow ache generated by a comparison engine running on a scale it was never designed to handle. There is a German word for it, coined in the modern era, Torschlusspanic, the panic of the closing gate, the creeping terror that life is moving on and the door is shutting without you. But even that word only partially captures it, because what you feel on social media at 2 in the morning is not quite that either. It is something we do not yet have a word for, because it is new. The brain researcher Antonio Damasio has argued that emotions evolved not as inner experiences, but as body states, physical signals designed to help you navigate physical challenges. Hunger told you to eat. Fear told you to flee. Disgust told you to avoid contamination. Each of these emotions maps almost perfectly onto a survival function in the ancient world. But what survival function does the feeling serve when you watch a highlight reel of someone else's relationship anniversary and feel, for a moment, that your own life is somehow less real? What is that for? What ancient danger is that trying to protect you from? There is no answer. Because there is no ancient equivalent. The emotion your brain is generating is a hallucination, a mispattern. Your prediction engine firing on a stimulus it has never been trained to handle, producing a readout that does not serve you and does not resolve. It just sits there, eating. And it goes deeper than social comparison. Consider the emotion that arrives when a notification does not come, when someone reads your message and does not reply, when the little indicator appears and then disappears. Your brain treats that silence with a level of physiological urgency that is completely out of proportion to the actual stakes. Your cortisol spikes. Your attention narrows. You check again, and again, and again. Psychologist B.F. Skinner mapped this response decades ago, not in humans, not online, but in pigeons pressing levers. When a reward is unpredictable, the pressing behavior does not decrease. It intensifies massively. This is called variable ratio reinforcement, and it is the most powerful conditioning schedule known to behavioral science. It is also, not coincidentally, the exact architecture of a notification feed. Your brain was not built for this, but once it encounters it, it cannot look away, because the ancient circuitry responsible for tracking social rewards, the same circuitry that once helped you monitor who was rising and falling in your tribe of 150, has now been hooked to an infinite machine that never resolves. The emotion this produces is not anxiety in the clinical sense. It is not FOMO in the casual sense. It is something in between. An anticipatory vigilance loop that was designed to last seconds, stretched across hours, across days. Your body does not know the difference between waiting for a signal from a tribesman in the dark and waiting for a notification. It runs the same ancient program, but the ancient program was built to terminate when the signal came or the danger passed. Online, the signal never fully comes. The danger never fully passes. There is a third emotion worth naming, one that almost no one talks about. The feeling of being known by something that cannot actually know you. When an algorithm surfaces the exact song you needed to hear on the exact night you needed to hear it, something happens inside you that feels, briefly, like being understood, seen. The sensation is real. The warmth is real. And it is being generated by your brain's deep need for recognition, which is one of the most ancient and powerful emotional drives in the human repertoire. In a small group, being known by the people around you was survival. It meant protection, resource sharing, coordinated action. Your brain treats the sensation of being seen as a signal of profound safety. But what you are feeling when the algorithm gets it right is not being known. It is pattern matching. There is no awareness behind it. No person who noticed you. The warmth your brain generates is real. The source of it is an illusion. And in the gap between those two facts lives a loneliness so specific and so modern that we have almost no language for it. The experience of feeling seen by something that cannot see. You are not broken for feeling these things. You are ancient hardware in a world that arrived too fast. The emotions you cannot name, the hollow comparisons, the notification loops, the false warmth of algorithmic recognition, they are not character flaws. They are calibration errors. Your brain trying to use 200,000-year-old emotional tools on problems that are, at most, 15 years old. And here is what that means for you. Right now, in your actual life. Every time you feel something you cannot name, something that loops without resolving, something that arrives from a screen and sits in your chest like smoke, your brain is not malfunctioning. It is doing exactly what it was built to do. It is trying to protect you, trying to connect you, trying to position you in a social world. It just cannot tell that the world in its hands is not real. The ancient brain saw fire and knew what to do. It saw a face and knew what to do. It felt hunger and knew what to do. Right now, somewhere in your chest, there is a feeling you cannot name. And your ancient brain is looking at it, searching its 200,000-year archive for a match. It will not find one, because this feeling is new. Because you are new. Because the world you are living in arrived faster than the brain you are using to feel it. The fire is real, but there is nothing to run from, and nowhere to run to. Only the feeling sitting there in the dark, waiting for a name you have not invented yet.